Hello, welcome back to my channel. Um, I'm posting videos again. Yay! Yeah, I have been away from BookTube for I think about 2 months, and during those 2 months, I was okay. And to show you that I was okay, I read a bunch of books. Usually, if I was less okay, I would probably not read that much books. Sometimes I don't even read books. But yeah, I read some books at the time within those period, and I will make some kind of wrap-up videos, like a series of wrap-up videos in the future about those books, because I want to talk about those books, but not in this video because now I am going to take the bus to go to school later. So while I'm just kind of like have a bit of short amount of free time right now, I'm just going to record this video and share with you what I am currently reading at this moment. So this month is August, and it's Women in Translation Month. It's probably one of my most favorite reading event on BookTube, and also Bookstagram, because it happens there as well. I've actually finished one book, translated book by a woman author, and this would be the second book that I expect to finish for WIT. This is called Juletane, and it's by Guadeloupean author Myriam Warner-Vieyra. So this book was originally written in French. It was translated to English by Betty Wilson. I'm about 50% into this book. So in this book we see a woman, her name is Elaine, and she discovers a diary that was dated like in 1961. And this book was originally published in 1982. So this book was published in the 80s. So Elaine was kind of like somewhat close to the person who wrote this diary. And in this diary, she found out, she discovers like the story of one particular woman. Her name is Juletane. And this woman was involved in a marriage that really got her feeling so miserable. Like, this woman originally came from the West Indies, and she lived in France, and then in France she discovered an African man with whom she fell in love with, and then she got married to this man, and they went back to this man's hometown in Africa, somewhere in West Africa, and she would eventually find herself in a miserable marriage. So far, even though this book is quite short, I find it kind of difficult to read because there are certain parts that could feel dreadful to read about. The content can be kind of heavy, especially when it comes to like the experience of Juletane in this marriage. Reading her diary is just, a little bit harrowing at times. Like, I could not fly through this book. So I expect that I will read this book much slower than I hoped. So what are the books that I'm currently reading? I have a bunch of stuff behind me. I have this one. This is a short story collection, Dubliners by James Joyce, my first James Joyce. But I'm only 2 stories in this book, and so far I think it's okay, but I think that's just me with short stories. I'm not the biggest fan of short stories because short stories are like, to me, they're like snacks. Novellas, they're like meals. Snacks are okay, but I could never feel satiated with snacks. So yeah, that's just how I feel about short stories. I don't have much to say about this book at this moment. I thought that the first 2 stories were kind of okay, but yeah, not much to say about it. Then again, this is a currently reading, what I'm currently reading video. So I do have something to say about this one though. Michel Houellebecq's Serotonin. This book was originally written in French, translated to English by Shaun Whiteside. Now, in one of my past videos, I said that I kind of enjoyed this book. I told you guys that maybe this book would be one of those books that would change my mind with Houellebecq. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah. At the beginning, I thought, okay, the depiction of the main character as this man who is like so disillusioned, who is so cynical and somewhat misanthropic, somewhat misogynistic, especially in regards to his Japanese girlfriend, a little bit racist. You know, the way that he is depicted, something feels kind of outlandish about him, okay? And I was like, okay, that's interesting, really outlandish, problematic character. I like that. But I am 78 pages into this book, and I just thought, it's just, this guy is written so flatly. Like, there is nothing interesting about him other than things that I just mentioned earlier. Like, he keeps on complaining and complaining. I like characters who complain a lot, because usually their complaint gives a certain insight about, you know, their surrounding or about themselves. But this character, he's just not interesting anymore. Beyond the first few pages that I found interesting, other than that, he is just so boring. He's so boring, and apparently his part of the plot later in this book is he's going to go to a countryside in Normandy, France, and then something's gonna happen. It says here in the description. I don't care so much about like reading the description in detail, but I have not reached that part yet. So I think I would want to at least reach that part and then, you know, see if this novel just kind of like, you know, shift gears or something, or maybe change my mind further to the positive, hopefully. But at this point, I think that this book is just a bore. And I am easily distracted from this book, as you can see right now. I actually started this book last month. Supposedly, I think, you know, I could have read this book very quickly. You know, the font size is fairly big. I got this like big size edition, and then spacing is kind of big as well. The paper is thick, which gives this book the illusion that it's a thick book, but actually it's just the paper being thick. So I could have read this one fairly quickly, but I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have read Serotonin, what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, those are the books that I am sort of like focusing on right now. If you're familiar with my Goodreads account, you will see that I have like 20-something books in my Goodreads currently reading list. They're just books that I'm setting aside, but I'm working through them one by one. I'm thinking of reading, you know, picking up some of them. One of the ones that I'm going to pick up next would be Swell by Ioanna Karystiani. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to like get through those books before the end of the year. A little bit of a reading goal. But anyway, yeah. Let me know what you guys are reading at this moment, and I'll see you again with more videos in the future. So until then, take care, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna get ready to go to school, even though technically I'm not a student anymore. I graduated. Yeah, I'll see you again sometime. Take care, bye bye.